Okay, I pressed record, so we are starting right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the UGC. My name's Densin.
Hello.
That creepy voice in the back of your head is Anla'shok.
I
thought the voices were only in your head.
Very careful. No, the voice.
I
Yeah,
thought
the voices
Valak
have
was the
transferred.
voice in your head.
The voices has transferred to the listeners right now.
Okay, so
You are all fucked.
yeah, you're all completely doomed.
Okay, so for a quick and total introduction of everybody, we have Optimus Alandra.
I think you do.
Yes, I do. And we have Alu, who's also recording. Hello, Alu. And Anla'shok, you already heard, so we're not going to introduce him.
I thought you were Dutch, not from San Francisco.
Wait, whoa, time out here. Not
What?
gonna introduce me?
We already
Yeah,
did. You already introduced yourself.
No, I didn't.
He didn't introduce himself.
Okay, hi Anla'shok. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yes, you haven't been disconnecting for quite a time, actually.
Yeah.
And now I changed
bloody-
it, so you
Bloody
disconnect.
team speak.
You disconnect.
User on your
anytime.
channel timed out.
Yes.
Yeah.
See?
Anyway,
Anla'shok.
carry on.
Okay. We're waiting with that. Miri Modus is here.
Howdy.
Zaratan is here as well.
Hey.
Moderator Fadek is here.
Don't call him moderator, Valley. That gives him some sort
Okay.
of power.
Okay, fine.
I have all the
Fadek.
powers. I just
Well,
don't
you
know how
got what?
to use them.
What kind of powers?
All the powers?
Superpowers.
They're not very
Austin
super.
powers.
They're all
Austin
text-based
powers.
powers.
Austin Powers like smoking a pancake.
Yes.
Bang and blitz.
And
Anyway.
for tonight, special guests, we have the elusive, very special female Dark Wolf.
That was really creepy. In before that.
Yeah.
You son of a bitches, now I fucking spit all over my laptop.
Yeah, spit. I've never heard of that before.
Fuck.
Let the
Guys,
woman speak,
you
so
guys.
they'll actually believe there's a woman here.
Yes.
Other than Valak.
Other than that.
Yeah, I
Hey,
know,
hey,
right?
I'm
I
mid-op,
never
okay?
heard of a woman here before.
It's true. It's true.
It's a sausage fest.
Is it true you actually killed Blaine to assume his presence on the Dark Council?
Yes. Why do you think my name is Dark Wolf, for crying out loud?
Okay. Fair enough. So, just like we do usually, we'll do a quick look over the big news of the week. The first piece being that we're going to have maintenance on Wednesday this week rather than Tuesday. So apparently they have taken our recommendation on board and they
Again.
decided to start testing for one extra day. Go
Yeah.
Bioware.
Well, do we actually know that it's gonna be there this Wednesday? Because it might as well just be an elaborate hoax.
Well, if it's not, I am going to travel to Bioware Austin and choke a bitch.
No, what I mean is
I
that...
thought you would be Bioware.
yes, choke
Have you
yourself.
reported in the
That's a good
podcast
point.
before?
That's a good point. I am Bioware. But I'm talking about Bioware Austin specifically.
Well, what I meant specifically is actually that couldn't it be true that they are gonna actually patch this week and wake
They've
into next week?
patched every week.
I know,
at
but
this point.
hopefully,
So-
what I want to see is that they freaking take some time, take at least 2 weeks instead of 1 week, and test the crap out of that shit.
Well, I appreciate that that's your opinion, but you can get bent, sir. I want
What
to play
the
the game
fuck?
again. I want to play the game again.
Okay,
And
so
as
what?
long
So
as long as flashing all over my screen, strobe light bullshit continues, I can be in the game for a maximum of about 15 minutes before I get a headache at this point. This is fucked up. And it's taken them 2 weeks to fix it. Suck my balls.
exit Anla'shok Bridge.
I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. If I'm subbing to this game, and I've told you that I cannot play because of what the choice you made to the game. You do one or two things, and it's not just me, by the way. There are a multitude of people out there who have had this problem. You do one or two things. You roll back what you did to before the shit happened, or you credit people back their account because they can't play your fucking game, and they've done neither.
True. That's true. Well, just, if they do mess up again, as in they break more crap because they patch something again, and we already talked about this extensively in the last podcast, which is like 2 podcasts back now because we had some delayed podcast after this, or after the other.
Way to shuffle things, Densin.
I am good at shuffling things.
Every day he's shuffling.
You completely broke my fucking train of thoughts. I have no fucking clue what I was gonna say.
I think you want to say something about Saw Killer.
We'll get to the sword healers. But yeah, if they want to delay everything else, no problem with that. But they need to fix this UI bug, and they need to have done it last week. And
They should have done it with a normal hotfix.
They should have done it the day after it happened, because people were already complaining. I'm gonna kind of call someone out now, but kind of not. There was a thread on Reddit about a week ago, in fact, it was last Tuesday, where someone brought up a thread that says, "Congratulations to Bioware for always ending their maintenance ahead of schedule." At which point I post in there and goes, it would be really good if they used the 3 extra hours that they had in their maintenance schedule to fix the problems with the damn game, like my UI, so I can actually play. And I got downvoted for that.
What's your point?
My point is that people are stupid.
Now, you see, I actually agree with him about this because I'd rather see BioWare actually using the 3 extra hours from the maintenance to actually fix half the bugs that are in the game. I mean, there's to a point.
Yeah, they're doing one or two things. They're either saying, yeah, we're awesome and we're not going to bother and just do it whenever, or they're working on the Scotty principle. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, there was an episode of The Next Generation where Scotty was on. And Geordie LaForge turned around to Captain Picard and said, "I'll have it done in half an hour." And Scotty was like, "What the hell did you tell him that for? If it's going to take half an hour, you tell him it's going to take an hour and 45 minutes. That way, when it's done in half an hour, you look like a fucking genius." And that is what I think BioWare is doing. They know that they don't have fixes for this stuff. They're like, oh, 7 hours, whatever. It's just really annoying me that they put this thing in place and they won't fix it and they won't compensate the people that they've upset. Don't get me wrong, I've been on a little bit, but I've been having to play with my UI off, which is really hard. Which is what I've been going back and doing, like, the Balmora bonus series at, like, level 50. So I can just sit there and press 1.
Tracer missile?
Tracer missile.
No, 1 is my basic attack.
Oh, I thought you rebound basic attack to tracer missile.
Yeah, true. It's true. But let's move on from my rant about the UI, because they are apparently fixing that in 1.1.4.
Thank God, on behalf of everybody here.
Yeah. The other thing they're doing in 1.1.4 that I wanted to bring up, because it mirrors something that we've said before here, I would like to call your attention to the classes changes.
Everybody
And the
turn their
class
pages.
changes are Imperial Agent and Bounty Hunter. Note, there are no Smuggler or Trooper fixes.
What?
Go ahead, Alondra.
No, that was just it. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you said wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
There is an operative fix, there is a power tech fix, but there is no Vanguard fix for the Trooper. There is no Scoundrel fix for the Smuggler.
So once again, we are presented with the elusive problem of mirror classes not being mirrored. Right?
WTF? Right?
Exactly.
Now, Zara, the change that they're going to put into on an operative Does that matter?
A little, but not enough.
Well, it's 10% of the healing done by those abilities.
Yeah,
isn't it?
but still, when you're doing HOTS and stuff, you're not going to have like a big burst heal that's going to add up to, a ton. Yeah, you're going to get 10% more, but like each tick I do might be 500, so an extra 50. How's that going to help when, in a raid fight you get hit
50.
with like 8,000?
Yeah.
That will totally keep you alive during faceplant mechanics.
Well, who knows? What if you actually needed that 50 health and you didn't have it and you died because of it?
I don't know,
How's
maybe
that?
present your pain to get 30% more HP, or use my med pack to get 30 more HP and not drop below 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's you.
And
And
most other
every
people out
other
there right
one-
now.
Raider.
Every other raider on the planet that doesn't
Apart
want to
from me.
suck.
Apart from me.
Hence me saying who doesn't want to suck. Densin.
Well, I'll kill things, but I don't pay attention to my own health. That's why I'm not that good of a raider. But I'll do my part.
But yeah, again,
I kill
it's-
things. Stabby
it's-
stabby.
Bioware tells us that all of the differences between the classes are cosmetic. But they're obviously not, because if it was just a copy-pasta kind of thing, you wouldn't have these issues. Right? Or am I nuts for thinking that?
Well, you don't have to question you being nuts. I mean, that's already
All
a
right, fair
proven
enough.
fact. But yes, no, you absolutely do agree. Do seem to make sense. There you go. That took some time to scramble up my mind for a bit.
Okay.
That's gonna be a recurring theme during this entire podcast, most likely.
Okay. Miscellaneous bug fixes. This is another one favorite of mine. Players will no longer experience occasional disconnection when purchasing crafting materials from the Galactic Trade Network. Do you imagine how much that must suck?
Well, at
It
least
sucks very much.
Awesome! I finally got the Mandalorian iron I need for my Ricardo bollocks.
disconnected.
Yeah,
Well,
at least
hey,
I
at
fixed
least-
the mailbox one.
At least it isn't as big as an actual client crash, so you have to go back, log in all the way, etc., stuff like that.
But
Thank
once,
God for that.
And I think Alu will understand what I'm saying when I still don't believe this is an actual patch because there's no mention of the weekly PvP war zones. It's been in there every week, every time so far, and still no mention. It's like in StarCraft 2. If it doesn't mention the bunker, it's not a real patch.
yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing about Exotech either, so definitely must not be real.
Yeah, definitely nothing about Biochem.
Hey, at least finally I can learn the Exotech adrenal schematics.
I know.
It's true. The problem is if you buy the materials to make them off the Galactic Trade Network, you're going to disconnect.
Oh, I think Miri actually found one of the Warzone fixes for you. Or no, wait, that's Amandra.
That's a
I
laundry,
definitely
yeah.
found it, man.
I'm not talking about the Warzone things. I'm talking about the winning Warzones doesn't count towards the
Oh,
weekly
right, that.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that drives me nuts. I mean, I'll be playing. I'm not a PvP player to be specific. I just jump on there for the XP, and I'll jump onto a game that's probably just started, and I'll finish it up. Our team wins, and I don't get credit for it.
Yep.
I'll be going, what the fuck's going on here?
Hotball. That's
Now
going on.
Now, for the last 4 patches, they've said that they're fixing that. And this is the first one
I
where
like to
they're
see
not
them actually
fixing
fix
it.
it this
So either
patch,
they've given up
which
or they think
I
it's
doubt
fixed.
that will actually happen.
Okay, so after our TeamSpeak server kind of exploded, I think we should kind of pick back up on that and
Do you want to redo that, or
redo what?
well, just now because you misspoke?
Not really. It doesn't matter. I misspoke. The TeamSpeak server just exploded.
Right, that's right.
You
That's
can't
true.
get much. You can't get much more technical difficulties than that.
That is true.
Yeah. So either Bioware have no clue what's actually going on with it, or they think it's fixed, and they're just like troll or whatever, or they're waiting and they're gonna we're gonna deploy this fix at a later date and make everyone more pissed off.
Or maybe they're actually
I don't know.
actually looking at the problem and trying to figure out what the fuck it is.
I know, right?
So who knows? Maybe
Dun,
Bioware's
dun,
actually learning.
dun.
That was the best kind of sound effects I've ever heard.
You know it. You know it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So there's not. Is there much more in the
patch.
in the patch? I don't think so.
No. Added a /version command. What the hell?
Yeah. Krog's Palace.
Oh yeah.
They're finally making it so the puzzle boss has fewer hit points in normal mode than it does in heroic. It only took them like 3 weeks to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This game has so many errors in it. It's.
But yeah, I think that kind of covers the patch.
Oh, what about Zoa?
Oh, yeah, Soa. Casting Mind Trap will no longer cause Soa to lose threat against his primary target. So...
I think that when Anna, etc., and everybody else disconnected from the server, Anna also disconnected from his brain server. Because you're skipping a lot.
Hello, Pot. This is Kettle. You're black. What?
No, I'm not. I'm white.
Is there something wrong with being black now, Densin?
I'm sorry, what?
You had to affirm that you were white.
Yes. I had to. What? I thought it wasn't clear enough.
Are we going plain on us right now?
Anyway, back in the land of not making Densin feel uncomfortable.
Blaine's dead.
Yeah, it's his voice that's going into his head now, right?
He has been replaced. There shall
Yeah,
be no
Blaine-
referencing
Blaine's-
him any further.
Blaine is standing next to me. He's whispering in my ear.
He's like one of those Force ghosts
Like a
behind
ghost,
Densin.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You have a dude standing next to you whispering in your ear.
As a ghost. Let's keep it at that. He has no legs, nothing below the waist.
Does he look like Patrick Swayze from the movie? Are you like crafting pottery?
No.
Wow, I feel
Oh,
really
boy.
old. I feel really old now.
You should.
Damn it. Shut up!
Wait,
Mark.
wait. Is he the Patrick Swayze from Ghost doing the pottery thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Please.
Meanwhile, back in the
Nothing.
land of Star Wars.
And in the land of the living, don't forget that.
See, people, that's what's happening when Kash doesn't show up to a podcast.
Yeah, if we get kind
Yeah.
of sidetracked.
The Blaine
Yeah.
Dash.
Soa no longer loses threat when his primary target is mind trapped, which doesn't say that he's not going to cast mind trap on the primary target. So does he just forget that the primary target exists, wander off, smack someone else around from it, and go, oh wait, there's that guy over there, I better go back over there? Or does he just stand there and punch the dude in the face while he's in a mind trap?
Yes, I hope it's the last one. That's gonna be fucking hilarious.
But how
I
can
don't
we
want
heal
to
Hey,
him
maybe
in
he
mind
breaks
trap?
Mind Trap by himself,
Not.
and we can just keep DPSing him.
He's just,
Densin, if you like it that way, you can heal him while he's in that mind trap.
Yeah, because we can't heal him while he's in a mind
Fine, then
trap.
I'll just stand in the corner and cut myself, okay?
because
That's how Marauder healed.
I just have this image of Soa going, I have you in a mind trap. Oh, shiny thing over here. Slap, 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 slap. Oh, wait, you exist. Must punch you now. I don't know.
It's kind of like
But-
that already.
Let's sort of, oh! The best patch now ever. Show usable now properly filters only to show equipable items.
GG Bioware.
Yeah. It took you 8 weeks to patch that.
And even then, they probably messed something else up. I mean, in the last patch, we found out that they messed up the holodancers. And
Yeah, Holodender
so,
and Rhythm Augmentation Droids. Fix that, Bioware. Fix
Yeah,
it.
still waiting on rhythm.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I let Auto jump to them.
Yeah, and at least they finally fixed the guild window too. Supposedly.
I'm not gonna say it, but
Again.
I'm gonna say it. They said they fixed that before.
Hey, that's the next thing. It must be in every patch, right?
Wasn't it like? Didn't they fix it in like the very first patch ever?
They fixed that in like 1.1.1.1.1.
I thought they fixed it in
1.4?
1.0.1. I don't know.
Something.
I don't bloody know.
You know, I'm starting to think that this game may be a little bit out of their league, and just imagine there's so much code going on in that game itself that as soon as they change one thing, the entire program just becomes corrupt. That's what it appears to me like.
I'm not sure if it's necessarily out of their league. I just don't think that they've not focused properly. I know that they can do this. Bioware is a big enough company that even if they can't do it, they can hire the people that can. And they have the backing of EA, which makes it even more proof that they can do it. They just aren't focused on what needs to be done. They're more
like
focused.
fixing the HoloLenser.
They are more focused on getting a patch out every week than getting a good patch out.
But this is still a relatively new game. I mean, I know BioWare's in it 2 months already. This game is now 2 months old. So
Well, for early access, it's about 3 months, isn't it? No, about 3 months.
I guess.
No, it's about 2 months old at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, if you got the earliest of early access, it's exactly 2 months as of the time of recording.
continuing what I'm saying though, this is brand new territory for BioWare. I mean, not everything is going to go exactly to plan for them. I mean, look at Blizzard. Blizzard, when World of Warcraft first came out, they had problems, or even it drove me nuts because I started playing World of Warcraft around open beta, and there were certain stuff that in the game then that drove me nuts, and that was when Blizzard was entering the new territory of MMOs as well.
Alright, I agree with you. And then there's
I'm gonna
the
finish.
but. Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish, but
I'll let you do the but.
while, yes, they are entering new territory, they've never done it before. This isn't new territory as in nobody has done it before. This isn't new territory as in we're just releasing this game with absolutely no beta testing. Right? I know for a fact that during beta, I personally reported the PvP bug not updating my weekly. I reported it several times during beta. Still isn't fixed. They've now put out 6-7 patches, pretty much all of which have had that same patch note in it. There's a difference between having problems because you're going into undiscovered territory and then having problems because something's just wrong. And things like not... Now, I have to commend BioWare, the launch of this game, smoothest launch ever.
Absolutely.
The servers barely crashed. Sure, there were queues, but that's because they were incrementing the amount of people that could be put on servers at any one time, so servers didn't just implode under the weight. So that don't get me wrong, they did a lot of things right. But when you tell me 5 times that you fixed something, why is it not fixed yet?
Now, I agree with you on that one. I mean, like you said, the weekly thing, that drives me nuts. And also the daily PvP. There's every once in a while the daily PvP will be broken, where I would enter, like I said earlier about the about it not recording me winning that PvP battle.
Yeah, but it's not just that, alright? You have 2 factions that have 8 classes apiece that are exactly mirrored. That BioWare is telling us are literally copy-paste of each other with different images, with different visuals. The patch notes for the past 2 patches prove that to not be correct, because if it was, you wouldn't have Imperial Agent and Bounty Hunter having fixes, and not smugglers and troopers. There are certain things at the center of this that are massively flawed, and that's what's worrying me about this. But maybe that's just me. Let's move on from patch notes and that kind of stuff, and let's move to the Q&As, because this is something I really want to kind of get our teeth into. Gonna go through a couple of the Bioware have been doing community Q&As for the last couple of weeks, and it is something that kind of makes me regret reading them at times, because at the latest one that occurred a couple of days ago, one of the questions that got asked to BioWare was, are there any plans for a show hide companion headgear option? You have an option to ask BioWare anything, and that's what you ask. Really?
Well, maybe it was very, very, very important to that one person.
I don't know.
Well, I can see why they want to ask that question. I mean, I agree with you about the fact that, one, it is a bad question to ask BioWare, but at the point where you're rating in that, you really don't care what your companion looks like, to be honest.
Well, considering when you're raiding or even in a group in a flashpoint, you never see it. And there's a lot more important shit to get fixed well ahead of what's on your companion's head.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering when you're doing your companion quests, their headgear disappears anyway.
Oh yeah,
So,
I mean, I could be talking to my, second companion for the Inquisitor. I could be talking to him, and the head that's on him right now, I think, is god ugly, but it disappears when you're talking to him, like my headgear will disappear when I'm talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this one I'm going to kind of wind Dark up and let her go. Will there be any changes, stroke improvements made to the Galactic Trade Network UI? And when will it be implemented?
I love to talk about this one because I like using this so very much. I think it's the most brokenest auction house that I have ever seen in any game. This is one of the things where I think BioWare should relook at it and redo whole auction house options. The UI is extremely hard use, especially for first-time users of said auction house.
I believe the words you were looking for are fucking awful.
Well, I'm trying to not scare Valak again.
Give in to your hatred.
No, don't
Just
worry.
not used to hearing those words coming out of your mouth.
So we need to get used to it more. So, go on. Do it. Do it.
Fuck, you're being creepy today.
It's because you made me play LOL for the first time.
That's enough to creep anybody out.
So
Said the only
people
person
know
on the
this.
channel that doesn't play
Everybody
LOL.
knows that I rarely swear in TeamSpeak, and anytime I start swearing in TeamSpeak, Valak gets scared.
It's just weird.
So not to play the role of Kash or anything, but the Galactic Trade Network?
Yes, anyhow, back to what we were talking about. It is so god-awful broken that I can barely use it. I only use it to sell stuff. So I'm going there going, where can I sell? Why in the fuck isn't this damn thing working?
See, I'm gonna make a slight confession now. Because of my real time and a bunch of other stuff, I haven't been able to get into raiding. And I actually spent 200,000 credits on the Galactic Trade Network yesterday, making it so that I didn't look like Skittles the Bounty Hunter anymore. I actually got this amazing pair of pants from some instance that I went into. This leg slot. So I actually went out and bought orange gear that actually matched the pants.
I don't know why you're hating on Skittles.
I know, right?
I got no problem with Skittles as long as they're the candy and I am tasting the rainbow. When it comes to my bounty hunter, I'm apparently the best bounty hunter in the universe, according to my splash screen whenever I load in. So I don't want to look like an uncoordinated doofus. Maybe it's just me. Must not make creepy comment. Go on then, Densin. Try me.
No.
Yeah, I want to know this creepy comment. Come on, Densin.
Well, you can still taste the rainbow if you lick his armor. Dirty bastard.
What the?
What?
Okay, hey, I'm not sure that's more creepy. Are you saying it or you thought it?
Hey, I'm a trooper with Skittles armor, so you know I lick that armor all the time to clean it up.
Oh,
What?
if I haven't said this before, piece of advice to any trooper that levels up, do all of the heroics on Tatooine. You get an amazing looking orange set that makes you look just like a clone trooper. It's awesome. It's all black and white and looks great. Anyway, side note. Yeah, just the Galactic Trade Network UI is god awful and completely needs reworked and needs to stop being shit.
The only thing I want in Galactic Trading Network is the ability to search or not type in the name of the item I want before I search in every category.
Bravo,
For the love of
that
God,
was
yes.
just what I was about ready to say.
And the ability to sell 4C fun time, right, Elu?
You don't sell 4C Fun Time.
What?
Don't
just
make me
saying.
bring up the picture again.
That
But I
sounds
would
Right.
just on.
disturbing and creepy.
But I would
So
just
this
be
the
on
guy-
Galactic Trade, just trying to look up prices to see what I'm going to sell, and it's like, what in the world can I sell? How can I find the prices for this thing?
I'm just lost at this point when it comes to the Galactic Trade Network, and I just banged the plate that's sitting next to me. Anyway, on to the next point. Will we be able to take the modifications out of our endgame PvP sets and put them into a set that we like better and keep the bonuses? About bloody time. Dear Bioware, design endgame armor that doesn't look like it was made by a 5-year-old with crayons.
Don't hate on the Space Pope.
Valak.
On the Space Antichrist.
Yes.
Space Pope. Starscream. The bounty hunter that looks like a villain out of Spider-Man. And don't even get me started on the Imperial agents that look like
Assassin's Creed.
ninjas.
Yeah.
None of these things are bad things in their own context.
If they were executed well. True.
I'm just saying, ninjas are cool. Starscream was cool.
Yeah, but-
Space Pope, well, that definitely has cool, like, written all over it.
Space Pope, come on.
Just
I
wait
mean,
till I get
but-
my helmet and become
I-
Space Antichrist Valak.
You put them all into a Star Wars scenario and then go, hey, this is your guys' raid gear. By the way, it comes in 3 different varieties of quality and 3 different varieties of color. Enjoy!
See,
Uh,
so here's a question.
Can we please let Zaratan finally talk?
No.
No.
Okay.
But
Go
the
on,
game at
Zara.
this point.
it's just one of those, like, at least for me as a healing op, I hate the fact they want me to look as like a ninja for a healer. I'm not stealthy. I'm not supposed to be firing from the back. Why does the healer supposed to look like some sort
Think
of ninja?
about it realistically, Zara. You look like a ninja because when your healing fails you, you throw down a little smoke ball and run away. Just like a ninja.
And nobody notices you because of it.
And my heels aren't big enough to be noticed. Is that the other part?
They are kind of stealthy.
Zing!
Yeah, I was thinking it too. So.
And here's another question, right?
We're main.
Why?
You think?
Why are you forcing a Sith warrior to look like a goddamn transformer?
Hey, as long as you don't put the
understand-
helmet on, you look
No.
like a cyborg.
No, I don't care. I don't want to be a cyborg. I have picked a Sith warrior as a Sith pureblood because I want to be a Sith, not a Goram cyborg. I want to have robes, I want to have a lightsaber, and I want to stab you in the head. I don't want, like, I'm not... I can understand, yeah, Darth Vader had all these cybernetics because he had both of his legs chopped off, one of his arms chopped off, and was left to burn to death in a frickin' lava river. I can understand that someone like Scotia is... I can understand. But why do you force me down that route? Is it because of the dark side corruption means I need all this stuff to assist me? Then why doesn't the Inquisitor need that? And how does that explain light side Sith? Why can't we just have robes, armor? It just
I do have to
frustrates
agree.
me.
It would be better if there were actually more options to what you would actually look like in the end. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and this just says PvP armor. Are we going to be able to use that with PvE?
I'm pretty sure one of the massive selling points on this game was supposed to be its customizability, so where's that at anyway?
Yeah. And I'm just saying, man, Kraven the Hunter, I'm not feeling that. Go look at the level 20 Bounty Hunter gear. The Haywire set, it looks awesome. It's like black and white and red camo, it looks great. And you get to that endgame gear and you've got like fur on your shoulders and teeth hanging off your wrists, and you've got like this mask you'd expect to see on like Darth Jadus, and it's just like, what? No, bad. Anyway. Now on to the two meaty questions that I really want to delve into. First, this is a bit of a callback to the SWTOR standard is in your head episode. Someone asks, can you provide some detail on healer class design philosophy? Commando, Scoundrel, and by extension, Mercenary and Operative. AoE does not scale with group size due to player caps. Are they not intended to fill raid healer roles? Scoundrels can be highly efficient, but have no tools for doing short bursts of healing. In short, what is the design intention for each of the healers? And is it intended for them to be balanced so that any possible combination is competitive in operations, or a certain mix is expected? There's so much in this answer that I kind of just want to shoot with a large bore shotgun, that I'm gonna step away for a moment and let y'all talk.
And go.
That means one of you should be speaking right now.
Hey, I did all my speaking on what I thought was already established bullshit in the last podcast.
Yeah, and this answer...
I don't really think we have a lot more to add to it.
This answer only adds to the pile of bullshit.
But what I'm saying is...
Basically,
ahead,
the
Alan.
answer this guy got was, yeah, every healer, the raids are made so that every healer has a challenge for its own, except for Inquisitor, Sorgs, and Sages who just put shit on the ground and heal everything without even
trying, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Pretty much saying, oh no, the other classes have things that make them just as good. Don't worry about it. You're just... Yeah, the whole in your head thing. Yeah, it's just in your head. Yeah, right.
It annoys me that they sit there going, we have no problem with how people are healing, and then every person they talk about, it's like, oh, we're fixing that in 1.2. Well, if you're happy with it, why are you fixing it?
Mm-hmm. And then the whole
Yeah.
thing of, they're nerfing. Like, they're going to nerf Sorks and Sages a bit instead of buffing the others up. What the heck? I mean, come on.
So they're going to penalize entire raids that have previously used nothing but Sork healers because it's easier to lower the bar than to raise it.
It just... I don't know. There's a certain point where you just have to sit there and wonder what's going on, you know?
There's a certain point where the developers stop taking meds that make them drool on their chest. But I don't think we reached that point.
Yeah, they're still in rehab at this point, I think. They're not, not over this drugs yet. They're still on them.
Personally, for exactly this reason of, developers just not really knowing what to do sometimes, I usually, up until this point, did not read patch notes. I didn't read them because whenever I read something like that, I would only just, wonder what the fuck they're doing. I would just wait for it to happen, and if it happened, then it happened, and I would, adjust to it. And that's it.
Here's an interesting thing I've been bouncing around in my head the last week or so. And it all goes back to the beta. And my gut is making me ask the question, how many of the people that were in beta were actually testing, and how many of them were just playing the game? Because this is all stuff that people should have found out in beta.
Well, you won't. I don't think you'll ever get a concrete or actual answer to that, of course. However, I do think that if you would look at, YouTube, etc., at looking at actual, playthroughs, etc., to actually show what the game is like, I think you can, pretty much bet your gut on it that there were at least, I think 90% just playing it, for like, okay, well, I can get into this right now and I can see if I actually want to get this game later on. They weren't testing. Maybe 10% of all the beta testers were testing, and even then, probably only maybe 5% actually reported bugs because the other 5% probably figured like, oh, this bug has probably already been reported.
Okay, well, just to throw this out there, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think they've actually gone out and said now that they don't believe that their own PTR is even working.
Yep, they have. I even saw it in a post.
So the fact they can't even run a successful PTR, why the hell would it have been any different in beta? When people are just wanting to play.
The difference between that is if you were to wait a year from now, PTR would work fine. But there are people who are in a situation right now who still haven't got to 50, still haven't reached endgame, and those that have might be interested in seeing the storylines of other classes. This is what we were talking about before, is it's not the right time for a PTR. It's not the right area for a PTR. The PTR is something that will come into being when more people have a hold on it. Beta, people are single-handedly invited to test, not play the game. That's the difference between a beta and the PTR.
But it's the same people.
And also, I kind of almost have to ask, I wish I could almost ask them instead of curiosity. They make a comment in their response saying they have numbers that say all the healers can do like all the content and operations just fine. I wonder how many of those operations had exclusive of one class, like healing, and how well they did comparison. So like, how well did operations that just had Sork and Sage healers do compared to just Bounty Hunter Trooper and Smuggler Op? Just, kind of curious. That would easily show at least a little better sign of balance. I mean, while every healer may not be able to do everything as good as the others.
I think back on E3 when they showed the first boss on the Eternity Vault, they had two Sage healer. Sage or Sork healer, so I don't know. In-house testing.
Didn't they fail on that, right?
They did pretty badly
Yeah.
because I don't think they knew what they were doing.
The Sork healer didn't know how to put this purple stuff on the ground.
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone to think that I'm just sitting here going, grr, arg. Because I really do enjoy playing the game. The problem is Bioware want to do something. They want to make a very specific statement. They're like, this. But they never back it up. They're like, well, this is what we think, but we're going to change anyway. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way, should we say. This whole healing thing, I know we're going round and round in a circle because we talked about this in the last podcast, but they specifically say right here, as for scoundrels having no short burst healing, we don't agree with that assessment. A scoundrel, for example, is capable of producing rather significant burst healing output by using upper hand gain from underworld medicine or Colto injection to trigger an instant emergency med pack or surgical probe. Alright? Now, I'm not sure what that translates to for operatives, but weren't you telling me that like your burst is like 2,500 at most?
Non-crit, yeah, I'll generally get between, well, actually 25 is generally the low end. Normally it's like 25 to 2,800 about. And a surge probe, again, not crit, you're looking at about an extra 1,000. So you're looking at 3,500, while, yeah, other classes do that a lot better.
Yeah, and those electro thingies in the faceplant mechanics, and both bosses do like, what, 8k damage?
8 to 10, yeah, probably about.
Yeah, we've talked healing to death at this point. This next one, I think this is something Ali is going to be able to talk about quite a bit, since I think this is his area of expertise.
Stems?
He would not talk about
Strange photos from 4chan.
He was good at that, too.
Can you please confirm the exact mechanics behind taunts? I know... Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, I have no real idea how the taunts work. I just know if I lose aggro, I just press taunt and I instantly have aggro the entire time and don't lose it like ever again.
This is the question that was asked to them.
So our tank doesn't know how to tank.
Because in other MMOs, they were very transparent about how a taunt works. And in most taunt situations, what it does is it raises your threat to the same level as the person who is highest on the threat meter. Okay? So, if I taunted, but you carried on attacking, you would still be top, because you would be generating more threat than I would be. The thing with taunt here is it automatically puts you first in the aggro order, no matter what. So it just...
Yeah, but the thing is, from what I can tell from my experience in Eternity Vault when I have to tank the ads on the first boss, is, I usually use my AoE taunt as soon as I lose aggro and keep attacking one mob, and yeah, those 6 seconds the AoE taunt works. So those are over, like, if someone attacks 2 or 3 times something I haven't attacked, they instantly get aggro again. So I think you are on top of the aggro meter for 6 seconds. After that, you have to keep being on top or you lose it, like, instantly.
Yeah. So what it does is it moves you up and then moves you back to where you were.
Probably.
So, I mean, having leveled my Vanguard up, I know that going into instances and stuff, even though I have an AoE taunt, if I have a group that is AoE happy, there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. I will taunt, it will put me to the top of the list for 6 seconds, then they'll all run off again. It just makes me want to punch babies.
If your group was doing it right, everything would be dead in 6 seconds.
No, there's that, but...
Sorry, my elitism was showing.
Yeah. Mr. Space Pope.
Hey, my congregation knows how to do it.
Fair point. Fair point.
So wait, what? I'm part of the congregation of Valixton?
Valixton?
Yeah.
I thought it
Well, I
would
can
be
also call him
Valak.
Varlik. I can also call him Varlik if you want.
Shut up! Stop saying that.
That's
Someone's
my
gonna
job.
try and jack that name.
I mean, like Mary.
Varlik.
I'm sorry, but Valixton sounds like the worst porn star name ever.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one.
Why not? You've been trying to touch everything else all night.
And and taste the rainbow.
Skittles are delicious.
Densin, you make it too easy sometimes. God damn, man.
Fine, pick on me, you son of a bitches.
Okay.
No, that's not. I can move you about. No, never mind. Okay. So next topic on the topic
So
list.
he just realized he could move you, but then he'd have to host by himself.
A worse fate.
This would be funny. Go on then, Densin.
So Anla'shok had something interesting to say. So go ahead, man.
I just wanted
Fine.
to tell you guys, I just stole the name Varlik.
The Varlik has been taken.
Son of a bitch.
But hey, it's an Inquisitor, so I'm probably going to delete him in a few days.
Well, guys, since Anla'shok doesn't want to host, I guess I'll see you later. See you, bye.
You guess that you're kind of screwed, right?
I have no fucking clue what to talk about.
Well, that's kind of the end of what we had to discuss for today, really, anyway. So,
Yeah.
was
Except
there
for the
anything-
Jedi sect bits.
apart from the
And
Jedi
all
sex
games.
bits, was there anything that anyone else was really wanted to chat about? Or...
I really want to talk about...
Nah. This podcast has gone to shit as soon as you stop taking.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to apologise for the fact that Kash isn't here yet to draw us back online.
I blame Dark Wolf.
Why are you blaming the woman, Valak?
That's
Because-
what I want to know.
It's a woman introduced into the environment of 7 men.
Thank God my wife isn't here right now.
I don't even
So-
want to know where that's going.
There is another.
You guys, by the way, you do not want to see the chat right now. Trust me.
Yes. So there is one other thing that someone brought to light. Dark, what was it?
What? Wait a minute, what?
What you just posted in the chat, sweetie.
Oh, yes, about that.
Oh, that was creepy at all.
How was it creepy? I called her sweetie.
Yes, you did.
It's not like
Yes.
saying, hello.
Anyway.
Would you
Well,
like
it's not like you
some
go around calling
Skittles?
Densin sweetie.
I've got some Skittles in my van.
No,
They're a
there's-
puppy. Skittles.
I never said they were in the van. No, they're in my armor. They're in my
Wow.
armor.
You know, he
Never
doesn't
in the
have
van.
Skittles in his van, he has
Oh,
crepes
yeah.
in there.
Anyway,
This podcast. Oh my god.
I blame Kash for everything.
yeah, he
I regret
isn't here.
nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to how it is when we're not recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Delicious.
Dark, what was the point, sweetie?
There he goes again.
Okay, let me talk.
Shut up, Anna. Okay, let's go.
Alright. Now, I actually have two things that I saw in the Q&A that I'm not sure if people would be interested in knowing about, or... I mean, one of the things I posted on the chat was about Force users' characters having their hoods up on the robes.
Too bad that Kash isn't here because he would love that Q&A thingy right now.
Now,
It makes me wonder why they have to think that people would want that.
Kash
I
is
have
going.
to think. I have to think. Who the fuck still gets to wear a hooded robe? Because I know I have a pointy ass hat.
I
Hey,
can wear a robe.
sorry, I get a robe. At least,
well.
not a robe, but a hood.
Yeah.
well, if I take off my head...
Don't talk about
Shut
taking
off.
things off in here.
Yes, that
No,
would be
if
bad.
I actually show off my head on my character, the hood comes on, and I'm bald. And I play a female character.
You take off your head.
She can take off her head.
Not literally, but...
Just like, here you go.
So you're
Oh, it's
playing
like the
Lego
Bounty
Star
Hunter.
Wars.
Is it like the Bounty Hunter quest? Where you bring the head to the
Oh,
lady?
God.
For those of you that have never done, just do the Bounty
That was
Hunter
talked about in
quest
one of our
line.
other podcasts, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Just do the Bounty Hunter quest line on Hutter, and you'll know what we're talking about.
I think it's a level 7-ish quest. 7 or 8.
It's one of the best interactions ever.
It is rather hilarious.
Sad
We've
part is
already
I always
talked
go
about
light
this.
side on that one.
No, I mean the option you get when you show her the head. Can't we talk about this?
Can we just talk about this? Anyway,
You don't want
Oh,
this?
I got you.
I think I just leave this here. That's a very good option.
Blob. Ah!
Holy shit.
It just, yeah, it boggles my mind that they had to put this. Why was this not in the game? Like, the trademark look for a Jedi is hood up robes. Why?
But I think none of the Jedi headpieces are actually full mask. Only like
That's the problem.
yeah.
Like, why does the Jedi Save have a fucking fan on its head? Why does the Jedi Sage look like Princess Goddamn Amidala? Don't tell me I'm wrong, because it's true. Go Google
It
it.
is.
Go Google it.
Don't even go Google it. Just go to Terrace. Go to the special guy vendor. And look at the
Yes.
sage headpiece.
Her full name is Princess Amidala Goddamn Padme Bitchface.
And it's also a technical term, as you can hear.
Razza, Frazza, Brazza. And what was the second thing you wanted to talk about, Dark?
Are you sure you want to talk about anything else, Dark?
I don't know. After that whole rant that I'm shocked.
Hey, the worst thing that could happen is that Densin starts creeping on you again.
I'm not doing anything.
Hey,
Wait,
Densin
wait,
hasn't
what?
creeped on her as much as Anla has with
No,
the
I swear
sweetie
for-
thing. Densin's been creeping on Skittles the Bounty Hunter.
I called her sweetie.
Hey there.
I hate to break this to you, but in England, that's like calling a guy dude.
Hey, you've never
No.
called me sweetie.
Yeah,
No.
it is. Yeah, it is.
See?
No.
Called us here to
I-
bring down the facts.
I say,
No.
sweetie,
People in
darling.
England don't say dude.
No.
Yeah, we do.
We say mate.
Cold Shadow
I
who
say-
just popped in. Hi.
Hello.
And bring
You,
down the
you
law.
mean the guy that automatically gainsays anything anyone else says to be argumentative?
Is that you?
See?
God damn.
And the prosecution rests, Your Honor. Go ahead, Doc.
Well, actually, there's now 2 more points I want to bring up just to make this podcast a little longer. No,
it's all your fault, Anna.
No, it's Cash's fault.
No, another point I like to bring up is the idea that, according to somebody, they look forward to server-wide special seasonal events or short-term events. Now, I don't know about what you guys think about this idea.
Yeah, like Christmas.
But I've never seen, other than probably every once in a while in movies, them celebrating some sort of thing. Like,
I am completely in favor of it.
I mean, I'm in favor of it too, because I like events where servers can come together and actually do something to a common goal or something. Like,
well, you've got two different types. You've got the Encourage thing, which was awesome.
That's what I was actually going to say.
Then you have the server-wide stuff, as in like holiday events and stuff.
Oh my god,
I'm fully up for those as well. Mainly because
Christmas Star Wars episode.
No.
Wookiee
now
birthday.
that you guys mentioned Encourage, I think how we get the white color crystal. It's going to be something like Encourage again.
But at this point, I'm in favor of anything that gives me more stuff to do at 50.
And that's one of the things I actually was about ready to say, was something more for people to get into the game, get them more excited to play endgame stuff. Like, I know, what is it? I don't know which season it is right now in WoW, because
it's
WoW
pick
just
random
finished.
Season. I mean, they just
WoW
finished Lunar Festival, right?
Yeah, Lunar Festival, or they finished up Loves in the Air, I think. And their one end raid or end game thing for that one is go and kill this dwarf that wants to ruin. No.
Brewfest?
Oh, I'm thinking of Broodfest. No, that's not it. Oh, no, you go into Shadowfang Keep and you go in there to stop these guys from spreading the perfume that could turn everybody undead or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They did that last year as well, and there was a really good neck from there.
And they add mounts and they do exclusive stuff you can't get anywhere else and stuff like that. And I'm down with that because you can tier it up so it's available for all levels. You can get some really cool looking gear you can't get anywhere else, which in this game hopefully it will be moddable, so you will be able to use it, especially if they...
You just couldn't use it in in-game.
Well, no, I mean, in this game you could, because they're instituting the being able to take out all the armor pieces and sets in 1.2.
Yeah, when they do.
So, alright then, when they eventually introduce that, you can start using them. And it would finally give me a reason to buy another bank slot if I had to store all that crap.
Isn't 1.2 coming out in like about 2
in
weeks?
March, I think, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's not to say they wouldn't have an event before then, but I don't think they will.
Means I have only a few days left to get to Legacy level 25. Oh no! And
there's still bugger all information on that, by the way. Still no information
There's 3
on
more
what we
levels
get
to go.
Still no information on what we get for Legacy and stuff like that.
Going to get Miralugu or Sith Warrior.
Yeah, I've already got my Sith Warrior though, and he's.
I was gonna say somewhere I heard that 1.2 is actually going to start introducing some of the stuff from Legacy. Did I hear that correctly?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to start introducing the race class combinations, I think. I think that's what they're going to be putting in.
That's what we've only...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting to spiral somewhat out of control here. Are we ready to wrap this up?
Well,
yeah,
Dark had one more point, right?
Yes. The other point I had was somebody also asked in the Q&A about mobile apps for the game. Now, I don't know how many people know about the World of Warcraft Armory app, which allows you to do chats, go on the auction house.
I did, and I don't know how I feel about it, because if they make it free, I'm all up ons. But if they make me want to pay for it, no, I'm against that.
Mm-hmm.
And the
I'll sit on
only
that boat.
app
Mhm.
I want for SWTOR is for crew skills that you don't have to, that you can like.
That
I
was
don't know.
what the Q&A was asking, is about
Yeah.
They will not
allowing
give
you
that
to
away
do.
for free.
Yep.
Probably.
There's no
'Cause-
way in hell they'd give that away for free because you're able to access your account from outside and do all of your crew skills
You got an extra
without
edge.
having to log
Mhm.
in.
And you could easily make real money, like in-game money with it. If you have like slicing, you get rich without ever logging on.
Yeah,
So-
just think of what the gold farmers could do with that.
And
Ooh,
here's-
yeah, the gold farmers.
Speaking of
And-
gold farmers, I don't know if I mentioned it in the podcast before, but I killed a gold farmer in Illum.
Yes!
Oh wow!
Good
okay,
job,
well,
Alu.
that's
And
much
speaking of gold
rejoicing.
farmers, I haven't been getting enough credits in the mail from you fuckers. So could you kind of ramp it up? You used to send me like 1 credit all the time, and you've stopped. I only had 1 in there in the last month. So
Yeah,
come on,
I
guys.
think I only got 5 credits.
I also want to quickly talk about Bioware and iOS apps and stuff like that, because they're going down this route with Mass Effect 3 as well, because they're giving you two apps for the iOS that you can actually play on your phone that will make the end game of Mass Effect 3 easier.
I'm not sure I like that at all.
Now, I don't care about them putting out iOS stuff. If you tell me this is a side thing to a side story to Mass Effect 3, I will buy that shit. I will wholeheartedly buy it. But if you tell me that the person that spends an additional $5 gets an easier endgame to Mass Effect 3 than me, that's retarded. And I just don't feel that it's going down the right route. I would prefer there not be any iOS support for Old Republic. Just like I'm cringing because they're talking about cross-server PvP. Which means we are one step away from cross-server looking for group dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Which
We don't
means
even have
we're
a
one more
dungeon
step.
finder as it is.
Yes, but we are one step. If they can do cross-realm PvP, they can do cross-realm looking for group.
Honestly,
Right.
I don't have a problem with them doing a dungeon finder. I really don't, because look how many dungeons people have missed out on their way up.
I have no problem with them doing a dungeon finder. I have a problem with it being cross-realm.
Cross server, cross realm, whatever. Obviously cross server, but I don't have an issue with it, but doing it this early in the game, that I do have an issue with, because you're not really allowing the communities of the servers to fully develop. Like happened in Warcraft, where they were already very established and everything, and then it was introduced much later.
Yes, but it was, in my opinion, the beginning of the end for Warcraft was the introduction of that. Because it took away all level of accountability. You could be as much of a douche and a ninja as you wanted. Because you might never see any of those people again. If you have to group with people on your server, there is a degree of accountability that comes with that, because you have to face those people every time you log in to the fleet. And the moment that I'm grouped with a dude from another server, I don't give a shit about that dude. Or that's what people think. I wouldn't do that, but
I really gave no fucks about who I was grouped with or anything else because, well, I played a healer, and I played a tank, and I played a DPS, but for the most part, when I was doing any of the random pug shit, it was with a healer or a tank. So, basically, if I didn't like someone in the group, I was almost always more valuable than they were. Not from an elite standpoint, but from a group mechanic standpoint.
That is the problem.
Since I wasn't a douchebag, not that I gave a shit about anybody else in there, But since I wasn't playing the douchebag role, for the most part, it worked out fairly well. As soon as I see someone ninjing in greens...
You mean other than the I'm more valuable than you?
Well, from a mechanic standpoint, I'm necessary, a DPS is replaceable.
But that's the problem. That's the problem with looking for group and all that other stuff, is not only does it de-incentivize guilds, it de-incentivizes having a man up. Because if you have to man up and be with that and be on a server with the person that you go, I'm more valuable than that person, even if you don't say that, you still have to face the consequences.
Oh, before looking for group ever went cross-server, if I was on a healer or tank and one of the DPSs was fucking around being an asshat, I would straight up tell them that they're replaceable. I didn't give a shit about it before or after.
But there's a difference between having to being a complete douchebag and just not liking someone. And all too often, you will find 3 people who are like, man, we can't find another DPS, or we can't find a healer. And they get into the dungeon queue, and then their friend comes along, and then they kick him, and he comes in, and they don't care. Because it just... there's no accountability, because that dude is from another server. But anyway, we're rambling on to a whole other topic that has been talked to death already when WoW came around. So yeah, let's wrap this up, because we've been going for about an hour and a bit now. So, Densin, close us out, man.
I most definitely will. First of all, everybody, thank you for listening. I mean, to our remaining viewers after all that shit happened. And,
all
well,
3
on
of you.
behalf of everybody here.
Thanks, Mom.
Sure. Thanks, Anna's mom. Anyway, yeah, on behalf of everybody here, I want to sincerely apologize to Darkwolf. We've been kind of an ass to you, but I do hope you enjoyed it quite a bit.
Are you
No.
serious? Did you seriously just apologize to her?
A, you were an ass to her, and B, did you just hope she enjoyed it?
I think you did.
I hope she enjoyed the podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Is that what you're calling it now?
and good night.